Hello everybody, welcome to Trackalicious. Hope you're having a good Monday so far. We are looking to make it even better with round number 6 around the short but sweet Valencia circuit, also known as the Circuit Ricardo Torno, named after the two-time MotoGP champion. It has been an absolutely epic season up until this point. Through the 5 rounds, we have had 10 different 20-minute races with 7 different race winners. The championship is absolutely tight. There are 7 drivers within 100 points of the top standings. Thank you for the follow, and thank you for the subscription earlier as well, Mr. FPS Cody. As I was saying, Shane Sullivan is the driver to beat out on top. Let's head down to the track and see what sort of action the first qualifying session of the evening will bring from our lovely rookies. 21 cars in the field. Much bigger grid than the last few weeks. Good to see a nice and healthy turnout of the grid. As I was saying, Shane Sullivan here in the 617 BMW leads the championship, but there are 7 cars within 100 points of him, and you do get 60 points for a race win, 55 for second, 51 for third, and it goes down from there. So very important to finish a race, because that will still provide you some good amount of points. And so Shane Sullivan here on his first push lap will look to set the pace out in front. We have insider reports from Tyler Morgan himself that he's got a race 2 pit start for being a naughty boy. So he will look to make up all the positions he can in race 1, where in race 2 we'll have to try and work his way through the field and get those positions with on-track battles and action. Goes through the tight hairpin at turn number 8. The track winds on itself, a big infield section, part of the top that lays inside, and then this hairpin that sweeps back into the right-hand hairpin at turn number 10, or 11 I should say. And then the little bit of elevation changes right here as Tyler Morgan runs a little bit wide, but might have still kept it within track limits to keep his flying lap valid. We'll see where the 72 goes, if this is indeed a valid lap from the Aston Martin. And it is a 141.372, the time to chase from the rest of the grid. Noah Johnson and the other Aston Martin on the grid this evening. One of 3, I should say. Tyler Morgan, then Shane Sullivan now on the board in second place. Noah Johnson sitting in 4th in the championship race, multiple race winner from the championship. Will look to get on a good starting position here as we have more cars filtering in through the order. Josh Eberhard being one of them, sitting 3rd in the championship. Doesn't have a race win to his name, but still healthy finishes see him sitting 3rd in the championship, but unable to get a valid lap, so he still sits in last overall on this 21 car leaderboard. 10 minutes left in the qualifying session. Evening, Munex. Hope you're doing well. And so we look a bit further up the field. Is Drew Freiberger looking like serving a penalty, sitting in the pits. He is in 2nd place in the championship in the 419 AMG, right next to the 713 of Glenn Jacobs. Right there, the two mid-pack Mafia boys sitting in the pits, unable to go out for this qualifying session. Josh Ransom in a Ginetta versus Ginetta qualifying battle here. The 503 sits in 7th in the championship, or excuse me, in 8th in the championship. Not out of reach though, within 120 points. And we do also have that drop round coming into play as well. So still lots to consider coming down to the wire as Josh Ransom gets 4th on the board across the line on the second row of the grid, about 7/10 back of the time set by Tyler Morgan up in front, and that was his time from his first qualifying lap. So throw out all of what you know about the GT4 tires needing a few laps to warm up. He gets that lap on the first go around, and no one has been able to match it since. Cal Ford goes into 3rd, Josh Eberhardt 4th, moves Josh Ransom down here into 5th place. Land Cloud back in the KTM in the number 13, going to the line, currently sitting in 11th place, and does not find an improvement on the last flying lap attempt. JP May in the Husky BMW, the number 200. That is a nice looking livery. Sweeping down the hill through the 13th corner, and now just the 14th and final corner before blasting on the power down this fairly long relative considered to the track straight. Certainly will achieve the highest top speed going down there, and a valid lap is on the board from the BMW. Gets into 13th place. Josh Eberhardt goes to the top of the pile with a 1:41.207. Gets about a 10th and a half clear of Tyler Morgan on the front row. So no valid laps still here from Noah Johnson, just in the final sector, I should say. Just needs to find these final 2 corners and not run wide at the final turn exit, and he does just that, going into the wall there. Not sure what happened there. Maybe the brake pedal failed, but it doesn't look like that was the conventional line there from Noah Johnson. And as the entire grid is pretty much out in the field, except for those serving their pit lane penalties, here's Hezzy Thomas in the number 59 Dogbox Racing Camaro. No time on the board yet. Thank you, Louis, for the follow. Hope you are having a good evening and enjoying yourself. The first bit of qualifying so far. Tyler Morgan there behind Hezzy Thomas, looking to improve by a few tenths, but with a car right in front that might be difficult to do so, and in fact pulling off to the side of the road there and letting another driver through. A little bit heavy on that sausage curb, but the Camaro seemed to handle it pretty well, and so just 1 corner left for Hezzy Thomas to try and find a valid lap around this 2.5 mile lap. To the line comes the GT4 Camaro, and a time is on the board, 16th place, about half a second off of the time set by Tenno Kanoko in 15th. The lone Alpine on the grid belongs to Dr. Porkchop, as that is the pink Porsche of Tenno Kanoko. Referencing them earlier. Dr. Porkchop to the line, though, able to get an improvement and gets into the top 10 and then a few hundredths more, or a few tenths more, would find him past Rally Dutchy and Land Cloud up in front of him in the standings. And Myonex with the subscription. Welcome to the podium, my friend. Happy to have you here at the Trackalicious family. Whether you are racing with us or just enjoy watching along, thank you so much for the love and support. As Dr. Porkchop there invalidates the lap, and we'll return to the pit lane. This is Kalen in the 31 Throttle Theory Sim Racing Camaro in a good spot in the top 5, needs exactly a 10th to get past Cal Ford and find a spot on the second row. Noob Gamer, welcome. Thanks for the follow. And no time gained there for the Camaro driver. Under 4 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Very important now to get those laps in and make them valid. Absolutely crucial to do just that. It looks like Lucas Toronto was out on a warm-up lap, a 146.0 on his last go-around in the number 19 Porsche, but in the good top 10 position, currently sitting in 7th place. Tyler Morgan goes back to the top of the front row, a 141, and immediately gets moved by Cal Ford in the third Aston Martin on the grid. That is the number 84 in the Divino Racing Aston Martin, taking provisional pole position with 3 minutes left on the clock. And to the pits goes Cal Ford. This is Ollie Chaffart in the number 10 Ginetta. Good to see a few Ginettas on the grid. Pretty much every manufacturer represented. A little bit heavy on the curbs coming out of the final corner. And that is the 200 BMW of May, looking to pick up a bit of a slipstream as both of them come up to the line. The Ginetta not able to improve on that time as May improves up to 14th place in the 200 BMW. Josh Ransom in 8th place, looking to make that even higher. Coming to the line now. Oh, and just unable to do so, a few thousandths off of the time set by Kalen in the 31 Camaro. We've got an Aston in first, second, and then Noah Johnson here in fourth. Could make it an Aston 1, 2, 3 if he finds a few tenths to get past Josh Eberhardt, who himself looks to spoil the Aston Martin party at the front in the number 7 Porsche. Absolutely tremendous pace from Cal Ford at the front, getting into the 140s. Can Noah Johnson replicate that? He improves his time, but can't quite get past the time set by the Porsche of Josh Eberhardt. This will be the last flying lap attempt for those crossing the start-finish line now with less than a minute on the clock. Got lots of support for Kalen, who moves into the top 5. Josh Eberhardt can't improve on his time on this lap, but did cross the line before the checkered flag, so has one more flying lap attempt to go before the Porsche's qualifying session is complete. So Cal Ford in the pits from provisional pole. Kalen in the pits from 5th place, now 6th as Dr. Porkchop. Big slide from Landcloud through the final corner, losing a lot of time doing that, but gaining the skill points from the broadcast booth. Unfortunately, 12th will be the highest there that Landcloud will be able to finish. Tenno Kanoko behind on an invalid lap in the number 9, so we will look further to Noah Johnson going through the final corner now. Very tight left-hander and want to get on the power as quickly as possible. The start-finish line does come pretty quick here. So can Noah Johnson improve? He improves all the way to the top. A 140.572 gets by Cal Ford and makes it an Aston Martin 1, 2, 3. JP May running the perfect amount wide out of the final corner, coming to the line, moves up another position past Lawrence Thomas in the other BMW up to 13th place. And right at the last second there, Noah Johnson able to take pole position for race number 1. Certainly a big grid this evening. Usually used to around seeing 15 cars. Love seeing the big grid. As Brian was saying earlier, good spacing indeed. Yeah, the times were absolutely tight. I believe it looks like the top 10 were within about 7/10 of each other, so it should be super tight come race pace, which is a whole other beast to being able to set a hot lap. You've got drivers around fighting for position, and it is a whole other ball game. Let's remind ourselves of the starting order for race number 1. We've got Noah Johnson starting from pole position in the Chickadee Racing 942 Aston Martin. Next to him on the front row will be Cal Ford in the Divino Racing number 84. And to make it an Aston Martin 1, 2, 3, you have Tyler Morgan rounding out the Astons at the front in the Morgan Motorsport GT4, number 72. Alongside him on the second row will be Josh Eberhardt, sitting in 3rd place in the championship in the Lucky Devil Racing number 7 Porsche. Dr. Porkchop getting a good lap in at the end there, sliding into the top 5 in the Chop Shop Racing 71 Alpine. Then you have a Kane Kalen in the 31 Throttle Theory Sim Racing Camaro, starting from the 3rd row. Championship leader Shane Sullivan in the 617 Racing starts from 7th place in his BMW. Alongside him will be David Da Silva in the Nova Motors Esports number 39 Porsche. Starting the 5th row is Josh Ransom in the Skidmark Racing 503 Janetta. Then Lucas Toronto rounds out the top 10 in the number 19 Porsche Cayman. Alongside him, fellow Porsche driver Rally Dutchy in the Mad Fox Am 621. Landcloud in the lone KTM on the grid in the number 13 Grip Runner starts from 12th place. JP May moving up a position pretty much every lap. He crossed the line in the number 200 Husky BMW, eventually finding himself in 13th place. It is an all BMW 7th row with Lawrence Thomas in the BMW 134 BMW Motorsport alongside the 200. Then you have Chris Saunderson in the number 18 Allison Racing Audi. He sits in a handy 7th place in the championship. Formation lap underway here. The grid getting set Josh Ransom starting from the pits, it looks like, either serving a penalty or just unable to get started in time. But nonetheless, Ollie Chaffart in the number 10 Ginetta starts from 16th place. Then Tenno Kanoko in the number 9 Porsche starts from 17th. Ezzy Thomas in the 59 Dogbox Racing Camaro starts from 18th place. Glenn Jacobs in the Mid-Pack Mafia 719 AMG will start from 19th place. And to make it an all Mid-Pack Mafia 10th row on the grid is Drew Freiberger in the 419 AMG. Alex Aguirre rounds out the field of those starting from the grid in the Casual Chaps number 11 Porsche. Big grid, 3 Astons at the front, 2 Mid-Pack Mafia cars near the back of the grid. They certainly have the race pace to work their way through the field. Both of them, Glenn Jacobs and Drew Freiberger, both race winners, showing that they have the race pace to finish on the podium. Drew Freiberger is in 2nd place in the championship. Glenn Jacobs did join a little bit late, so not quite a representative position for him, but does have 3 podiums to his name in the few races that he has participated in. Grid lining up in zipper formation. Tyler Morgan starts from 3rd place, as he has for a good amount of races, I should say. It looks like that's his favorite starting position. We'll see if he can get the jump on the fellow Aston Martin drivers in front. Shane Sullivan always makes great starts in that 617 BMW. Can he pounce early and make up the spots early on? Only time will tell. The green lights will start the clock for race number 1. There wave the green flags, the green lights illuminate, and we are 4 wide right away at the back there. Shane Sullivan with a handy start. Cal Ford drops back. Tyler Morgan gets a position from the start, and it is a great start from the Camaro of Kalen, making up 2 places in the first corner. The 503 gets a stop-go for speeding in the pit lane, and Shane Sullivan now on the inside of Eberhard gets the move done and moves into the top 5. So Kalen up to 4th, Shane Sullivan up to 5th, Cal Ford unfortunately dropping back to 3rd place as Tyler Morgan got a great jump at the start there. And here is David Da Silva looking to jump on fellow Porsche driver in front. Dr. Porkchop dropping outside of the top 5, but Noah Johnson carrying on from the race lead. And there is a move from the Alpine down the inside. Late move. Great send from Dr. Porkchop. Moves up to 7th place now. Has the number 7. Josh Eberhard sitting in 6th place up ahead of him for position, but Da Silva is not done. And the 200 BMW of JP May getting a great start up in the top 10 after starting from 13th and gets the move around the outside. Runs a little bit wide though. Will have to give up that position to Rally Dutchy and might even give up more ground, but has the inside line for turn 14 and might even send the move. Rally Dutchy leaving plenty of space on the inside. And now it's going to be a side-by-side battle. It is all single file up ahead. We can see the camera panning there. Noah Johnson, nearly a 2-second gap. Shane Sullivan trying to send it down the inside, and there's contact with Cal Ford. And Dr. Porkchop tries to get through. Da Silva goes around the outside. There are a lot of cars stranded in the middle there, but it looks like both Cal Ford and Shane Sullivan able to get up and running. There was a bit of contact between the KTM and the Audi in the background, and it was a little bit of a quiet first lap, but things are certainly picking back up now. Oh, and there's number 7, I believe. That's Toronto running a wide. Or not the 7, the 19. Losing a few places there. Shane Sullivan now back in 10th place after that great getaway from him. This is Cal Ford after starting in the top 3, nearly hitting the rear of Dr. Porkchop and the number 200 BMW with contact behind. That's JP May trying to make up more places, but will unfortunately lose out to Shane Sullivan and will take 10th place. Man, it is a happy start for Kalen, now up in a podium position with all of this chaos that has ensued, and Shane Sullivan now pouncing on Rally Dutchy to the inside of turn 14. He has the inside. Rally Dutchy tries to get the outside to inside move, but the BMW covering off that opportunity. And down the straight, I think the BMW should be able to cover it off, and they are going crazy wide in the back there. That's the 503 of Josh Ransom diving back into the pits. Glenn Jacobs in the pits as well. Looks like got involved in a bit of the drama and unable to continue on. And there, Rally Dutchy running wide at turn number 2, allowing JP May to close up on him. Battle in front between the two Porsches of Josh Eberhardt and Da Silva. So Josh Eberhardt starting from 4th place, still in that 4th place after all of the chaos that has unfolded in front of him. Able to get back to the position that he started, and Da Silva has made up a number of places from the start, all the way up in the top 5 now. Dr. Porkchop there in the background in 6th. The two Porsches are pushing each other along through the end of the middle sector here at Valencia. But Josh Eberhardt hanging on to 4th place from the 39 of David Da Silva. Noah Johnson nearly 2 seconds out in front of Tyler Morgan, who has about a 1.5 second gap to Kalen, who might find the pace to finish in 2nd place. A bit of a slide there from Eberhardt exiting the final corner. Might just allow David Da Silva to close up and make a move. Oh, excuse me, make a move into turn number 1 here. And Eberhardt goes wide. Da Silva goes to the inside. Turn number 2, a great overtaking opportunity, and David Da Silva takes full advantage of the door being open right ahead of him. And now, can David Da Silva hold on to the 4th position out in front of Josh Eberhardt? Running a little bit wide in the few corners here. Might just allow Josh Eberhardt to think about sending a move, but it looks like he had the inside covered off there. As JP May and Drew Freiberger both working their way through Rally Dutchy, there is the number 200 BMW running wide out of turn number 5. Drew Freiberger closing up to the BMW of JP May. That battle really picking up there between the mid-pack Mafia driver starting from the back of the field. Oh, and there's a tap from Rally Dutchy to Drew Freiberger. That is going to really benefit Land Cloud as the KTM goes through both of those drivers. Drew Freiberger down the inside of turn number 12. Able to hold on to at least 11th place for now. Certainly carrying a bit of damage, lots of scratch marks on that 419 Mercedes. Now with the KTM up in front, the gap opening a little bit to the 200 BMW as well. And so now, after all of that work, comes just a little bit undone. Still lots to play for. 12.5 minutes remaining in the race. Cal Ford heavily over the curbs at turn number 4. Gaining on the back of the Alpine, and the two Porsches in front still racing for position, not really able to build a gap over the Alpine or the Aston Martin of Cal Ford there in the number 84. Tyler Morgan on that last lap has the fastest lap of the race, a 140.692 on the board from the Aston Martin driver, getting closer to the lead Aston of Noah Johnson and crucially extending the gap that was closing from the Camaro of Kalen behind. Dr. Porchop with a slide going through turn 12. This might allow Cal Ford the opportunity to sneak closer through 13 and into the braking zone of 14. Porchop having to take the inside line, or excuse me, the defensive line. And this might allow the Aston the straight line speed advantage it needs over the Alpine. Dr. Porchop covering off the inside, so he will have optimal line for turn 1, but the Aston does not care. He sweeps right around the outside. Great move into turn 1 to get it done. Cal Ford up to 6th place, gonna chase the pair of Porsches in front. And just behind on track, a battle for the final spot in the top 10, currently being held by Land Cloud. Not going to hold on to it for long if he runs wide like that. Drew Freiberger sweeps to the inside, goes over the curbs a little bit heavily, and will slot into 10th place, given to him fairly easily there by the KTM driver. Now has Rally Dutchy behind to fend off for 11th place. And just behind that battling trio is the 134 BMW of Lawrence Thomas, defending from Lucas Toronto, but might not be able to defend for too much longer. Lucas Toronto was looking for a move down the inside, but Lawrence Thomas just taking the racing line and taking the move away.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
And there we have the halfway mark of our first race this evening. Lots of action so far as the number 11 of Alex Aguirre runs wide in the distance there, or in the background I should say, just opening up the gap to this battling duo. Can Lucas Toronto line up a move into the final corner? The BMW still on the racing line. The Porsche goes to the inside, takes it away from the BMW, and they are going to go side by side down to turn 1. And as we have the insider knowledge, BMW is like the second fastest car in a straight line, so we'll see if that will help them. But it looks like Toronto will have the inside, but not able to stick a nose in front. But Lawrence Thomas runs wide. Lucas Toronto able to keep it on track and gets the position, moving up to 13th place. There's been a swap up ahead. Rally Dutchy gets by Land Cloud for 11th place. So the KTM losing a few places in a couple of laps there to Drew Freiberger and Rally Dutchy, but not giving it up easily, still hanging on to the tail of the Porsche. And in the back there, Lawrence Thomas able to get the position back. We could just stick with one of these drivers for the whole race, and they would put on quite a show as there's a wiggle exiting turn number 6 from the Porsche, allowing the BMW just that little bit of breathing room in front. But that breathing room is taken quickly away by the Porsche. The BMW forced to go to the outside, but through turn number 12, very tricky to get a move done as the curbing really protects the inside and the outside gravel trap comes up quick. But now Lucas Toronto once again will look to line up the same move he did on the previous lap to the inside of the final corner. Chris Saunderson lurking in the background there, looking to pick up any scraps that might get left. And now the BMW not able to go side by side, giving the position to the Porsche. And now Chris Saunderson will have a look around the outside, but the BMW covering off the charging Audi in the background, both of them running a little bit wide there. And now can Chris Saunderson line up a move to the inside? He can, of turn number 2. A little bit of contact between the two and a bit of a bump there from Lawrence Thomas as they exit the corner. Saunderson able to get 14th place. On that last lap, Shane Sullivan was able to get by Dr. Porkchop for 7th place. So Shane Sullivan back to the position he qualified in. Dr. Porkchop back a few places from where he started in 5th place. Pretty evenly matched are the top 3. The gap kind of growing, kind of shrinking here and there. It's right around 3 seconds between Noah Johnson and Tyler Morgan, and then further back to Kalen in the number 31 Camaro. So after Lucas Toronto getting through Lawrence Thomas on that last lap, Chris Saunderson unfortunately dropping back a few places after getting through the BMW. Saunderson now back to 16th place. This is Porsche versus Porsche, evenly matched. Lucas Toronto versus Rally Dutchy, 12th versus 13th. Bit of a slide from Toronto. Rally Dutchy running wide at the corner exit. And through this complex, it seems like the two are pretty evenly matched. A very tricky infield section, though. Rally Dutchy running wide into the gravel. Lucas Toronto will say thank you very much and take 12th place away from the 621. Rally Dutchy not giving it up, though. He might have a look to the inside, and he sure does into turn 6, but can't keep the momentum going. The number 19 sweeping around the outside, keeps the speed alive, and keeps 12th place. Oh, and a big slide there from Lucas Toronto going into the corner. Was that caused by a bit of contact? Rally Dutchy falling back. What happened there? Oh, we got punted into that slide right as I was looking into the timing charts. Something, of course, happens on the main screen. So thank you to our co-commentator, Grumpy Geriatric Gamer. This is what the gap looks like. It has shrunk a good amount here from Kalen to Tyler Morgan for the middle step of the podium, even though it is on the right-hand side. When you are facing the crowd, second place is up for grabs between Tyler Morgan and a Kalen in the number 31 Camaro here, trying to chase down the driver sitting in 6th place in the championship. Could use this points boost over Shane Sullivan to try and close down the gap to, or going into the final next week. Gap shrinking and growing. The Camaro seems very strong through the first couple of sectors there, but in the final half of the lap, Tyler Morgan able to grow that gap to right around where it was at the beginning of the lap. So Kalen just needs to find that little bit of pace in the closing corners to stay close to Tyler Morgan and potentially apply the pressure here, but time is ticking away. 2.5 minutes left in race number 1. bit heavy over the curbs, the suspension bouncing as the car rejoins the racing surface, not applying the optimal amount of grip. There we can see the gap growing just that little bit to the Aston Martin in front. But for the time being, Tyler Morgan able to hang on to second position. There should be just one lap to go once these two cross the start-finish line. And so it will be just 2.5 miles, 14 corners for Kalen to try and close the gap and get past the Aston Martin in front. But it looks like Tyler Morgan very confidently now able to keep that gap in front of the Camaro.
Leaders on final lap now.
There you hear the message that the race leader Noah Johnson up ahead there in the pink Aston Martin will look to be the first three-time winner of this championship. He was the first two-time winner. He could be the first three-time winner as well here. Tyler Morgan in a strong finishing position here in second place. Just needs to keep it clean for the final 10 corners that he has left. A bit heavy over the curbs there, but will be comfortable with the gap that is left behind to the Camaro of Kalen. Gaps are pretty open all throughout the field. Oh, and a drive-through right at the end here for Alex Aguirre. So he will get a 30-second penalty added to his time as he crosses the line. And that might drop him back a few places further down the grid here. Haven't had to say his name much. Noah Johnson, clean and consistent, led every lap from pole position in the 942 Chickadee Racing Aston Martin, and he will take the checkered flag in first place. Just behind them, Tyler Morgan and Kane Kalen waving or weaving across as the flag waves. David De Silva, great showing up to fourth place. Josh Eberhardt in fifth. Cal Ford recovering well to sixth. Shane Sullivan in seventh place across the line there. Dr. Porkchop in the Alpine, and JP May hanging on to ninth with Drew Freiberger applying the pressure late there for those final two positions in the top 10. Next will be Lan Cloud. He takes 11th place in the number 13 KTM. Lucas Toronto with a good battle all throughout the race here, finishes in 12th. Glenn Jacobs there taking 21st across the line. Lawrence Thomas in 13th. Alex Aguirre will cross the line with that penalty. We'll see him drop back down the grid a few positions here. Chris Saunderson across in 15th will get past Alex Aguirre in the final stand. Same with Rally Dutchy in the 621 Porsche. Tenno Kanoko, haven't had to say that name much this evening. Pretty quiet race from the number 9. Cross the line in 17th, should be 16th. Then you have Chaffart, cross the line in 18th. Hezzy Thomas 19th. And Josh Ransom nearly taking the position away from Hezzy Thomas across the line. But the Camaro 19th, Josh Ransom in 20th. And if you thought that was exciting, let's run it back. We've got qualifying number 2 up ahead of us. Another 15-minute session. Hey, let's go. We got a raid. Welcome, everyone, from the Turn 1 Sim Racing Lounge. Hope you guys have had a good evening, a good stream. Joining us at a good time here. We had race number 1 just finishing up, and this is the start of the second qualifying session to set the grid for our double-header race in the ACC Rookies. Indeed, good timing. Time for a pit lane start for Tyler. Time to kick back and watch some qualifying. Well, enjoy. Glenn Jacobs able to set a lap, as is Drew Freiberger in this session, so we will see the Mid-Pack Mafia boys able to qualify and start from the grid in their qualifying positions. Dr. Porkchop with a good top 5 finish in the first qualifying session. Finished the race in 8th place. We'll look to repeat those results. Why aren't you qualifying, Tyler? I can answer that, Kyle, because he was a naughty boy. And he is serving a penalty in race number 2. What can you do? That's the way you learn, my friend. Very naughty. We need a sound. We need the Borat soundbite going naughty, naughty. And so soon we will have some qualifying laps on the board. Do predictions. I can do some qualifying predictions. I predict one of the Mid-Pack Mafia drivers to finish on or in the top 3. Oh, and there you go. You've got Cal Ford P3 and a Mid-Pack Mafia lockout. Yeah, I was gonna say, one of the mid-pack guys for sure in the top 3. One of the Astons in the top 3. And I'm gonna throw a curveball in there and say Shane Sullivan's gonna be in the top 3 as well. Drew Freiberger on the board, a 1:40.097 is the time for the rest of the drivers to chase down, as we have Noah Johnson going through the second sector, approaching sector number 3 now, as the 713 of Glenn Jacobs goes across the line. Third place for the 713. De Silva will split them in the 39 Porsche and go second. Then you have Lucas Toronto in 4th. Chris Saunderson across the line in 5th. Him and Toronto and Glenn Jacobs get moved down as Lawrence Thomas goes into the top 3. Josh Ransom takes that spot away in the Ginetta. Noah Johnson goes onto the front row in 2nd place. Then you have Land Cloud across the line in 8th. And the qualifying has officially kicked off. Lots of times getting set on the board here. Dr. Porkchop in the Alpine in 8th place. Starting a petition to rename them to more front than mid, you know? That could, I don't, it's possible. It's very possible. We could definitely get enough names to get that signed off. And so there, Ollie Chaffart was unfortunately invalidating his lap, so he won't be able to make this lap count. Will Hezzy Thomas be able to find a lap on the board? Not quite on this lap. Neither does the 200 BMW of JP May. And here we go for the second round of those who went out first. Glenn Jacobs moves up to 4th. Kalen on the board in 6th. Then you have Shane Sullivan in 9th place. Saunderson gets on the board. Or excuse me, that was Josh Eberhardt getting on the board in 10th place. De Silva moves Glenn Jacobs down as he takes his 4th place away. Dr. Porkchop coming up to the line, looking to get into the top 10 in the Alpine. Can he do so? Unable to improve on his lap on that go around. Shane Sullivan with a bit of an up and down race, finding himself back in the position he qualified. Can he improve on that qualifying position, which was 7th from the first session? Currently sitting in 9th, rounding the final corner. Needs an improvement of a few tenths to find him in 6th. Gets about a 10th and gets past Lawrence Thomas in the sister BMW. We have a prediction that Josh Eberhardt will finish quali. Finish where? Yes, he's gonna finish. And right now, he is finishing in the top 10 in 10th place in the number 7. Rounding out the final corner, looking to get a big jump up the grid. Was in the top 5 last time, now sits in 6th place, gets a big jump from 10th, jumping all the way as high as 6th there, 1.4 seconds off of the provisional pole time set by Drew Freiberger. All right, here we go. David De Silva will finish quali. All right. I like these predictions. I like these predictions. Keep them coming in, everybody. And let's see exactly where he'll finish. He won't finish this lap. Unfortunately, running wide at the final corner, invalidating it as he comes up to the line. And so this will be another go around for David De Silva, currently on the 2nd row. 0.005 of a second will find him past the Janetta of Josh Ransom, sitting in 3rd place. And just about 0.3 will find him on the front row, past Noah Johnson. Still some drivers with no valid laps on the board. Ollie Chaffart, one of those. Cal Ford in the pits. Tenno Kanoko in the pits. Rally Dutchy and Tyler Morgan as well in the pits. Hezzy Thomas and Alex Aguirre and Ollie Chaffart are those who still do not have a valid lap on the board, are looking for one now. This is Alex Aguirre in the number 11 Porsche, going through the final sector. Just about 5 minutes left in the session for our 21 drivers to establish their grid order for the second 20-minute race coming up ahead. So Alex Aguirre to the line. Gets a lap on the board, moves up to 12th place. Cali official, welcome back to the podium for 21 months, and we have an onboard redeem with Glenn Jacobs, a full onboard lap, but he's in the pits, so we will get to that when he is out on a push lap. And if I don't remember, please remind me later on in the race, and we will certainly get to it. I can be a little bit forgetful sometimes. So we'll do our best to get to it in qualifying, and it looks like he is going out again. So we will thankfully be able to pick up that lap with Glenn Jacobs once he comes across the line. But this is Land Cloud currently in 14th place in the KTM. Going through the final corner, and this looks like a good lap from the KTM. Looking to get a big jump up the standings, moves up to 12th, pushes Alex Aguirre down to 13th place. Dr. Porkchop to the line. No improvement there from the Alpine, sitting in 14th place. Looking like a lot of the grid back in the pits to get some new tires back on the car and get some more push laps on the board in the closing 3 minutes. Glenn Jacobs is one of those drivers. Let's see what it looks like from the onboard cams. Very quick turn 1, sweeping to the left. Don't want to run too wide. Track limits are pretty favorable at turn 1 compared to a lot of the other ones. A tight hairpin at turn 2 turns the drivers back into this infield section. A quick left-handed kink over to the left-hand side before 2 right-hand corners in this little teardrop kind of shape. A little bit wide of the apex there, but able to keep the speed going there. Up a gear before swinging to the right for the left-hand corner at turn number 6. This is named Angel Nieto. And then this slight little straightaway. Left-handed kink there, considered turn 7. A tight hairpin here at turn number 8. Turns the driver completely back on its, or turns the track completely back on itself. Flat out left-hander, turning the car through the apex on the right before going out wide for the tight right-hand hairpin at turn number 11. And then it is a quick blast up to turn 12. A slight bit of elevation here as the driver climbs up the hill over the curbs. There is Glenn Jacobs. We'll have to wait and see if that is still a valid lap from the Mercedes driver, but a little bit wide there, trying to maximize the speed through the corner, and to the line comes Glenn Jacobs. Does he get an improvement? Not quite on this lap, but he did cross the line before the checkered flag, so he just might get an improvement past 8th place on the board. Noah Johnson trying to do the same, sitting on the front row, looking to improve the time. Needs about 6/10 to get past Drew Freiberger with that lightning time at the top, and he does gain about a 1/10, gets about a half a second within. Drew Freiberger at the top, and that is the qualifying session done for Noah Johnson. Cal Ford gets a good lap in at the end here, gets into 4th place. Shane Sullivan in 3rd. Oh no, Cal Ford runs wide, so that will be the session done. Josh Eberhardt finishes here in 8th place. Got some energy for Da Silva, who will take second place as he crosses the line. Takes it away from Noah Johnson and Shane Sullivan, who were both sitting in the top 3 there. Great lap from Da Silva, finds himself on the front row right as he was given some energy from Hezi. Great lap at the end from the 39. Len Cloud looking to replicate the same. It is just the number 13 and the number 18 left out on track. The Grip Runners KTM and the Allison Racing Audi of Chris Saunderson sitting in 13th and 16th respectively. Len Cloud, a few tenths can find him as high as 10th place. Chris Saunderson needs a good chunk of time to get past Dr. Porkchop in 15th place. And so where will these two drivers land? Cloud going through the final quarter. Chris Saunderson not too far off his tail as they round the final corner. Land Cloud to the line, improves on the time, but can't improve on the place. And Chris Saunderson is looking for a big jump up the standings. Can he find the time? He moves up to 14th, gets past Alex Aguirre and Dr. Porkchop. Yeah, I quite agree there. These times, not quite as tight as they were in the first qualifying session, and it's a bit more mixed up than we had in race number 1. No Aston Martin 1, 2, 3 going into race number 2 as we had in race number 1 this evening. But in race number 2, the Mid-Pack Mafia boys were able to set their qualifying laps, and they did just that, with one of the two finishing in the top 3 on the front row, on the front of the field. It is Drew Freiberger in the 419 AMG looking to get a strong result here. Excuse me here, was looking to find where he was in the standings. Second place for Drew Freiberger. So he will look to finish quite well, potentially finding himself jumping in the championship standings. Then we have David Da Silva in the Nova Motors Esports number 39 Porsche, able to get that lap done as the timer was ticking down at the end there. Noah Johnson will be next to him in the 942 Chickadee Racing Aston Martin. Then you have Shane Sullivan on the second row in the 617 Racing BMW. Cal Ford will be next in the Divino Racing number 84 Aston Martin. Closing out the third row is Josh Ransom in the 503 Skidmark Racing Ginetta. Then you have a Kane Kalin podium sitter from race number 1 in the Throttle Theory Sim Racing Camaro, starts from 7th place. Josh Eberhardt will start from 8th in the Lucky Devil Racing number 7 Porsche. The second Mid-Pack Mafia driver, Glenn Jacobs, starts from 9th place in the 713 AMG. Lucas Toronto finishes out the top 10 in the number 19 Porsche. Then you have an all BMW 6th row with Lawrence Thomas in the 134 BMW and JP May in the number 200 Husky BMW. The BMW row moved up one position from last time. They were 13th and 14th, now 11th and 12th. Then you've got Land Cloud in 13th. In the number 13, the number matches the position for the Grip Runners KTM. Then Chris Saunderson in the Allison Racing number 18 Audi starts from the 7th row. Next is Alex Aguirre in the Casual Chaps number 11 Porsche in 15th place. Dr. Porkchop alongside him in the number 71 Alpine in the Chop Chop Racing Then you have Ollie Chaffart in the number 10. Janetta starting from 17th place. Hezzy Thomas from 18th in the Dog Box Racing Camaro. Tyler Morgan with a pit lane start in the Morgan Motorsports GT4, and we'll get a livery deep dive of that car in just a second here. Rally Dutchy starts from the grid in 19th. Then Tenno Kanoko in the number 9 Porsche starts from the back of the grid. We'll head back to Tyler for a livery deep dive as he is sitting in the pits here. You've got the purple main color on the front, the Morgan Motorsports on full display with the lightning striking through it. The Halloween colors, very seasonal, especially at this time of year as we head into October. Come Wednesday, the lightning continuing all around. It's a nice and neat looking livery here from Tyler. The yellow, the purples, the blacks, the oranges, they're all there. The name big and bright so you know whose it is. Livery deep dive complete. So as he starts from the pits, the rest of the grid will look to line up here in zipper formation. Before we get going for the second 20-minute race of the GT4 Rookies, round number 6 around Valencia. The grid lining up in zipper formation. Lawrence Thomas in the BMW looking to get a good jump from the front. Drew Freiberger will look to hang on to the race, or to pole position, I should say. Can he take the lead going into turn number 1? Has David De Silva next to him, and we get a drive through for Alex Aguirre for being out of position at the start. There's already contact between the front row. Shane Sullivan in the BMW gets a mega jump and will get past the Porsche and will have contact with the BMW of Drew Freiberger. That is absolute chaos ensuing after the contact between the front runners. Everybody at the back had absolutely nowhere to go. Oh my goodness me. And look who's leading the race. It is the other mid-pack Mafia driver, Drew Freiberger. Kalen gets a position on Lawrence Thomas for second place, and now Lawrence Thomas will hang on to third from JP May. And it is an absolutely mixed up grid here after that incident going into turn number 1. After the first lap refreshes, we will certainly get all of the grid sorted, and that's JP May making the move past Lawrence Thomas for that final step of the podium. Now the number 200 finds himself in a great position here. Dr. Porkchop and Ollie Chaffart making up a lot of places from the start. Josh Eberhardt, not too much ground made up here for the Porsche. Sitting behind the Alpine of Porkchop, behind the Janetta of Ollie Chaffart. And that is Tenno Kanoko making up a ton of places from the start. Noah Johnson looking to make up ground. And that is Kanoko going back into the slipstream. That's Josh Eberhardt down the inside of the Alpine in turn 1. And that's a brave move, getting it done into turn 1. Looking to chase down Ollie Chaffart, running wide though in turn 2. This might allow the Alpine to sweep around the outside. Very tricky to do though in this section. That is the 942 yellow flagged. Cal Ford returning to the pits, as is Hezzy Thomas. Yeah, not sure either. That was a bit of a fighty moment there from the Porsche as the Alpine looks to the inside, scares the Porsche deep into the corner, and the Alpine makes up the position now right on the back of the Ginetta. Oh, and there's contact between Eberhardt and Dr. Porkchop, but the Alpine retains the position in front of the Porsche driver. This is a great four-way battle here for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place. So after that contact, David De Silva, carrying a heavy amount of damage to the front of the Porsche, sits behind the BMW of Shane Sullivan, and there is that four-car battle in front. Lawrence Thomas losing all of the positions on the straightaway there. Ollie Chaffart up to 4th, Dr. Porkchop to 5th, Eberhardt to 6th, Lawrence Thomas now back to 7th place. Shane Sullivan gets by Kanoko. De Silva looking to do the same around the outside of turn 2. Kanoko not giving the room there. And that is Dr. Porkchop in the gravel there with the Ginetta of Ollie Chaffart. Now Shane Sullivan will sweep to the inside, and he makes the move going into turn number 5. Now they're going to be side by side going into turn number 6. Dr. Porkchop tries to go and defend deep, and he does just that. The two Porsches side by side in the background there. That is De Silva going through Kanoko for 9th place. Oh my goodness me, I can barely keep up with everything that's gone on so far. And there is still 15 minutes of racing to lie ahead. I am all out of tea. I am all out of water. Let's get to the end here. On pure adrenaline, Lawrence Thomas running wide. Ollie Chaffart might have an opportunity to sneak to the inside of the final corner, but at the same time doesn't want to allow the cars behind to sneak through. Takes the curb very heavily and loses the place to the Alpine. Doesn't want to lose it to the BMW of Shane Sullivan, but the powerful BMW able to get through Ollie Chaffart. The damaged Ginetta losing a few places. Shane Sullivan having a look down the inside. Not quite able to line up the move past the little nimble Ginetta, who himself is looking to get the ground on Lawrence Thomas and gets the move done out of turn 2 before turn 3. Shane Sullivan will look to follow suit. And now the Ginetta looking to make up ground. This is Shane Sullivan going to the inside of Lawrence Thomas. There might have been a bit of contact between De Silva and Ollie Chaffart. De Silva now on the back of the 134, and with a good bit of momentum, looking to use it. But Lawrence Thomas defending to the inside, doesn't want to give up 8th place easily here, as Shane Sullivan moves up to 6th. Dr. Porkchop up to 5th. Josh Eberhardt in 4th place, looking to close down the gap to JP May for that final podium position. You've got Glenn Jacobs in front, Kalen in 2nd place. That gap is right around 2 seconds, but it is growing and shrinking lap by lap here, as De Silva has a look down the inside, not quite alongside enough to make the move, as Noah Johnson is alongside Tyler Morgan, but sweeping around the outside is the Aston that started from the pit lane. The number 72 gets the position, and up to 11th place goes Tyler Morgan, but Noah Johnson might fight the position here, but looking to tuck back as Tyler Morgan runs very wide at turn 1, still holding on to the outside as Landcloud in the KTM hangs on to the inside. Once again, side by side with Noah Johnson here. The two Astons battling it out for 11th and 12th place. The 72 has the inside for the next two corners, and Noah Johnson will just elect to tuck back in for the time being. And that is Land Cloud in the KTM, looking to get the position on Tenno Kanoko in the number 9 Porsche, but the Porsche defends well here, allowing a little bit of room to the inside for the KTM. Might just slip on through. Very tricky to get the move done. Lining it up here, can't quite go side by side into the braking zone. And all of this is allowing Tyler Morgan and Noah Johnson to close up, as well as Lucas Toronto in the number 19 Porsche. Very touch and go, and now Tyler Morgan. Oh goodness, Land Cloud just riding the curb and sending him all the way into the gravel trap there. Tyler Morgan having a look down the inside. Tenno Kanoko blocking that opportunity. And now Tyler Morgan going to the pit lane almost to get the move done around the outside and moving into the top 10 potentially. Or no, that was him moving into the top 10 with Land Cloud dropping back. Oh my goodness me. Noah Johnson sweeps through the inside and gets the position. But now Tyler Morgan to the inside, battles it to turn number 2. Noah Johnson in the 942 around the outside of 3 into the braking zone of 4. Will have the inside line and goes a little bit deep. Allows the switchback for Tyler Morgan and into turn number 5. Noah Johnson, they're side by side going into 6. I'm really having a bad feeling for Wednesday. Yeah, this is absolutely epic stuff here between the GT4s, and that start was pretty Monza-esque, as the chat was saying. And then Tyler Morgan here sending it to the inside of turn number 8, looking to get the move done. And I agree there, they're just kind of sending it into every little gap that is opening up. Oh, and that's Dr. Porkchop to the inside of the hairpin. Hezzy Thomas there up in front under blue flagged conditions. Dr. Porkchop in 8th. Kanoko in 9th. Then Tyler Morgan here rounds out the top 10. There's further contact, sending Hezzy Thomas into the grass. Dr. Porkchop going deep. Tenno Kanoko dropping the position to the 2 Astons and might lose it to the 2 Porsches as well. And it is all unfolding here with the raid of IB Schofield. Welcome in to the final 9 minutes of the rookies doubleheader here. Race number 2. Tyler Morgan goes to the inside of Dr. Porkchop. Turn 2 looks to be a great overtaking opportunity here at Valencia for the rookies this evening. Tyler Morgan goes to 8th. The Alpine drops to 9th. Noah Johnson looking to pick up the scraps as well here. Noah Johnson to the inside of Dr. Porkchop. The 2 Aston Martins battling each other for position and battling other cars out on track. Noah Johnson now up to 8th place. Dr. Porkchop losing a few places to a few Astons there, but might pick it back up here as he has the inside line. Will soon become the outside. Very tricky to get that move done, as we've said here, into turn number 11, but might sweep through and carry the speed. But turn number 12 is coming up quick. Very tricky to go side by side with the curbing on the inside, the gravel trap on the outside, protecting that corner from all of the ensuing carnage. That is Lucas Toronto. Oh, contact between the 2 Porsches. Let's see what happened there. Lucas Toronto just very unsettled, going into the corner with too much speed and hitting the 621 of Rally Dutchy, as he was on the apex of the corner there already. Tyler Morgan picking off drivers as they come to him. Lawrence Thomas now behind Tyler Morgan as the Aston Martin here in 7th place. Lawrence Thomas in 8th. Strong result for Kalen indeed. And I agree, it looks like that will be the biggest points haul for the Camaro, currently sitting in 2nd place. And so with one Aston Martin going through Lawrence Thomas, Noah Johnson will look to make it 2. Lawrence Thomas finding himself as high as 3rd place in this race, but just unable to have the race pace to defend that high of a position, but nonetheless a very strong top 10 finish for the 134 BMW. Noah Johnson using all of the curb given to him to try and carry the speed down the main straight to get past the BMW, but it is a very strong BMW in front in terms of straight line speed, that is. But running wide at turn 1, is this the opportunity Noah Johnson was looking for? And there is a battle going on there in the back. That's Josh Ransom to the inside of Dr. Porkchop for a spot in the top 10, and the Janetta gets the move done over the Doctor. And right as we said, Kalen might be on for a strong 2nd place finish. This might still be a race win. The gap is closing to Glenn Jacobs in the mid-pack Mafia 713 out in front in the final 5 minutes now. Can the Camaro apply the pressure to the AMG leading after the first lap chaos? And Glenn Jacobs certainly feeling the pressure, running wide at turn 1. And this battle will certainly be an one to watch, and it's one to watch now, really. What's the Discord for the league? Exclamation mark Discord will render a league, or a link rather, for that. There is the link to the Discord. Exclamation mark SimGrid is the place to get registered for the league. This one and any of the other leagues as well, from LMU to ACC, and all of that good stuff is available on SimGrid. That gap closing. Lawrence Thomas here in the BMW dropping a few places now. The Aston Martin of Noah Johnson able to go through, as well as the Janetta of Josh Ransom. But now Tyler Morgan is absolutely picking up all of the scraps from this race, up to 6th place now. Gets past David De Silva, who seems to be struggling here in the Porsche. Then that was Noah Johnson running wide there. As he looks to retain 7th place here from Noah Johnson behind. Lots of front end damage after that lap 1, turn 1 chaos. And just can't keep the grip to the inside of turn 13. And the final corner, turn 14, might just allow Noah Johnson the opportunity to get past here. And Noah Johnson easily getting through in the top speed department. past David De Silva. Into turn number 2 they go. Can the Ginetta line up a move now? Past De Silva, and it doesn't look like it just yet on this go around. Lots of damage getting carried by a lot of the cars here. Very bruised field as we head into the final lap of the race here. Can Kalen do anything about Glenn Jacobs holding on to the position out in front? Glenn Jacobs running wide out of the final corner. Can Kalen keep the speed? Using the slipstream now, going into turn 1. This is the final lap of race number 2. The last overtaking opportunities on the board here for Kalen to get by. Both of them using the track limits. Abusing the track limits, I should say, in turn 1. And into turn number 2, Glenn Jacobs maintains the position out in front of Kalen. And here we go into the midfield section. Can the Camaro stay close to the AMG leading the race here? Glenn Jacobs running a little bit wide, kicking up a little bit of gravel, but keeps the speed alive in between turn 4 and 5. And now the Camaro looks to line up a move into the heavy braking zone at turn number 8 to the inside. Glenn Jacobs gives a little bit of room, but not enough for Kalen to sweep inside and take advantage of great racing there between the leading duo as they go into turn number 10. Glenn Jacobs taking a very defensive line, not allowing Kalen the opportunity to line anything up, and into the final 2 corners they go. Bouncy for both the AMG and the Camaro through turn 12, but it looks like Glenn Jacobs will be able to hang on to the race lead, all under control. Exiting the final corner, the mid-pack Mafia driver in the 713 AMG takes the win in race number 2. Great fight from Kalen, and shout out to JP May, starting from outside the top 10, finishing on the podium here in race number 2. Josh Everhart across the line in 4th place. Shane Sullivan in the top 5. Chris Saunderson there in the Audi crosses in 17th. Great result from Tyler Morgan, starting from the pits all the way up to 6th place. Good recovery from Noah Johnson after that first lap chaos. Same with De Silva, crossing in 7th and 8th place respectively. Then you have Josh Ransom in 9th, Lawrence Thomas in the top 10, Dr. Porkchop in 11th place. Then Land Cloud in 12th. Rally Dutchy across the line in 13th. Lots of Porsches here, 4 in a row. Tenno Kanoko 14th, Lucas Turano in 15th, Alex Aguirre in 16th place coming up to the line. Then you have Hezzy Thomas and Cal Ford taking the checkered flag already in the number 84. And that is round number 6 completed at Valencia. Take it back to our lovely Trackalicious studio here. And we'd love to invite our podium sitters to the green room for a quick chat of how your evening went on. We'll bring in Glenn Jacobs and Noah Johnson. How is it going, gentlemen?
Woo. All right, man. You're gonna leave me in there?
You didn't finish on the podium, Tyler. I'm just kidding.
I have been put through the ringer in the last 2 weeks.
I thought you'd invite yourself in as usual. But here we are. Top 3, Glenn Jacobs, Noah Johnson, Tyler Morgan. How's it going, gentlemen?
Can someone explain to me what happened at the start of race 2? Because I come out of the
couldn't
pit
tell
lane
you.
and there was like 10 cars just strewn about.
So first, I don't remember who was who, but first and second got a bad start, and then Shane got a really good start. 3 into 1 collisions. I tried to avoid. I get tapped, and then carnage. People spin. It's race. At least for me, race 2 was challenging, but also very fun. But challenging.
Yeah. Race 2, you and I just had a fun time going through the entire backfield.
It was tough. I was held up so badly at the end there. And you pulled like 5 seconds on me. I think I was faster than you. I could have caught you. Maybe. I don't know. I think we could have had another battle if it weren't for the traffic.
Probably. I mean, we did battle for the longest time, even with traffic. I didn't see Glenn Jacobs at all in the first race because he pit started, and then I didn't see him at all in the second race because I was in a pit start myself.
Yeah, Glenn, you were able to avoid the chaos there in race number 2 and just kind of took that lead and never looked back. How did that go for you?
Well, I was looking ahead of where I was, and I saw Drew turn sideways. I said, "Oh no!"
Oh no!
First. So I let off and tightened up my turn to try and get inside of where Drew was. And then I saw everybody wrecking. Then all of a sudden I went through a hole, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in the lead." I know that was it Kalen was chasing me the entire race.
Mm-hmm.
He was just chopping it down, and I got a little tight. Started pushing too much, and I almost gave it away, but I was able to hold on. Thank God.
Yeah, able to keep it clean. And yeah, kind of fortunate there for you, Tyler, having that pit lane start. You didn't really have to deal with all that chaos at the start. You just kind of went all the way around it. But talk us
out of the pit and just went, just literally like, thank God for all the runoff after turn 1. I'm pretty sure I literally went so far off track, I legit like the rejoin process was terrifying.
That's fun. Yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes.
I couldn't catch Noah Johnson in race 2.
There's
so
post-stream talk. Let you in. You have to join the green room. There might not be a channel available to you in the Discord, so go into the, what's it called? Like the channels and roles, and it should be in there, and then we'll pull you right in. Hey, okay. What's going on, hey. Kaylin? How's it going?
Wow, I'm sweating.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, race number 1, you were on the tail of Tyler Morgan. Race 2, you were on the tail of Glenn Jacobs. But a good debut, second and third place.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. I thought I was going to be fighting in the midfield.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes.
As long as you have a clean qualifying, as long as you can qualify fast and not get involved in the incidences, and as long as you just kind of just consistent lap time, you'd be surprised at where you could finish. Like, yeah, I'm so lucky I stayed ahead of you, because after the final 10 minutes, I started getting really inconsistent with my laps, because I'm trying to catch Noah up here, but he just kept doing laps every single time. And I'm just like, Noah, can you please just stop lapping so I can please catch? No.
Sorry. I had a race to win.
He did a phenomenal. Noah did a phenomenal job. Kalen kept fucking terrifying me because he would drop within the 1 second mark, and I'm like, Morgan, just focus on your laps. Don't worry about him behind. And even if you got past me, I still had a podium because we were like 7 seconds up on P4.
Yeah, both races were pretty lonely, all things considered. But no, I was worried because my pace was quite off in qualifying. I'm pretty terrible at qualifying, all things considered.
See, you wanna be able to battle pit lane start or qualifying ban. Then yeah. you really get to see how much battle it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
certainly.
But I'm happy. That was good.
Yeah, good debut. 2 podium positions. I think you got the most points out of anybody this evening. in that Camaro. So congrats on that. Looking forward to what the next round brings. Unfortunately, just one round left, but I'm sure there will be another season announced after this as well. And Noah, congrats to you. Race win in race number 1. Kind of didn't really look back at the end there. Kind of a bit, yeah, Tyler applied the pressure on a little bit, but it looks like kind of after that 10-minute mark, just able to cruise around there at your race pace.
Yeah, I was not expecting to be quick at Valencia. This is not a track I really like. It's really tricky. The rear tires are sliding a lot. And it helped that there were some quali bans in race 1 that allowed me to get pole. And then, but Tyler kept me really honest. I knew that he was fast, and I just kept pushing, and I was watching that gap very closely. But part of racing is especially during a race, obviously a 20-minute race is slightly different, but I'm not trying to put in quali laps every single lap. I'm trying to be consistent, be a little conservative, because then that's going to be consistent, smooth, and it'll lead to hopefully a good result. But that race 2, I qualified P3, and then I went the wrong way when things started crashing. So that was an error on my end, and then it was a fun fight through the field. I hope you got to see some of those battles, and definitely, I was saying all the time you have to leave the space a lot. So,
oh, you have no idea how many times I screamed that.
Yeah,
in my own stream, I was screaming that to the top of my lungs.
Yeah, that was we certainly caught the two Astons working their way. You and Tyler were kind of working your way together there in race number 2.
That was fun.
Yeah, it looked like a bunch of fun for you guys there. And yeah, so final question will go out to everybody, those who have participated all season and those who have not. What are you guys looking forward to in the final round coming up? We will start with you, Kalen.
This is gonna be a pretty wild thing to say after debut, but winning.
There you go. Heck yeah.
Wow, confidence.
Heck yeah. I like to hear it. I like to hear it. And then next, we'll go to Glenn Jacobs.
The GT4s at Spa.
Oh. Just the GT4s at Spa. Kind of cut out there, Glenn. Not sure what happened.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that I think it's going to be more chaos, unfortunately.
Oh God, a Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what happens. Luckily, the race starts up the hill, so you're not carrying quite as much speed as you can. But yeah, certainly lots to look forward to at Spa. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Noah, we'll take it next to you.
Spa is another favorite track of mine. Hoping to get pole and win and not look back. Doing it in the last 2 races. Heck
yes. I love to hear all the confidence going into the final round. And last but not least, co-commentator from Wednesdays, Tyler Morgan.
I honestly can't wait to see what happens because I may not be there. So we'll see how that runs out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thanks you guys for joining us for a quick chat as always. Appreciate you guys joining us. Super fun to get to talk to you guys and see how the race went from your guys' perspective. As always, we don't get to catch everything from the booth as there's 20 different races going on. I'd love to have an individual camera for everybody, but sometimes we just can't. But yeah, thank you guys. Good luck in the season finale.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Move everybody on back to the green room here. Before closing out round number 6 for the Monday rookies here, I have been Kuja Terekov. Thank you all for joining us this evening. It has been super action-packed at Valencia. Not a track that is super well used, so perhaps just the rookies getting used to how the layout is and where exactly you can and can't go racing around Valencia. Join us tomorrow, or excuse me, not tomorrow, on Wednesday for the Multi-Class League of ACC going into their season finale at this track here at Valencia. Round number 7 for that championship. Thursday, we've got iRacing. Friday, we've got LMU, and I'm sure there will be a new Tuesday LMU season announced sometime in the near future. Discord is the best place to keep up to date with all of that news. SimGrid is where you get signed up. Twitch is where you watch. YouTube is where you can catch all of the Twitch replays. Sometimes we have the multi-stream going live to both. Stick around for the raid this evening of Juiced Racing, doing some dirt oval racing in a cool little motion rig. So make sure to say hello from one sim racing community to another. And as always, stay safe out there. We will catch you all on Wednesday for the season finale of the multi-class ACC Championship. We'll see you then.